I'm going to say 5 years ago, in July, middle of July. Just got back from our Sundance, and I'm here. And I'm going to go up and pick medicines. So I go out through the park, and I see Pat, one of the main park guys. You know, they start at like 6 o'clock in the morning. So they're knocking off at like 2 in the afternoon. And I see him walking around out here doing something. I pull up there. Well, then I see this eagle walking around. So I walk over there. So what's up with this, Pat? Well, this eagle came wheeling across our parking lot right in front of our building, and it landed right here. And I thought before I left, it won't fly. Won't fly. Young eagle, you know, you learn about them when they're just learning to fly. They have way more wings than they have the muscles to run them, so as long as the wind is blowing, when the wind stops, when they're first learning, they are grounded. So we managed to slowly shoosh it over and get it up on some, I think there was piles of wooden fence posts there, and it got up on those. We thought, well, there's dogs in the park, and we don't want there to be problems. And I told them, well, I'm going up to pick some plants. You're going home. I'll be back a couple hours. You know, we knew each other well, so to say I got to go pick some medicine plants. Commonplace. So I'll check on it when we get back. So I did. A few hours later, and I come back, and I pull up by the park office, and I can see that eagle is still out there. He's gotten up on a taller stack. You know, they're always going for the highest point they can get to. I learned that about him. So I had, Lyle was living in my cabin. He had Sundance for the first time that year. So I come and get him. Oh, you should see this, you know. So we go over, you know, park's right over here. I said, we're going to keep our distance, but for some reason this eagle isn't flying. And we were a ways away. We looked at it. Then we left, and you know how you got to kind of come around here to get to my place. We got in the part that comes across there. I'll be darned if that eagle doesn't pick up off that pile of fence posts and fly straight here towards the sweat lodge. It made it as far as all these trees that are so thick by the marsh, right next to my driveway. And, you know, they're learning the ropes. Well, he kind of crash lands in the middle of all these thick trees. So, well, you know, he's stranded up there. Okay, let's find one of those thick quilted pack mats, and we'll go help this eagle. I see Lyle. He's short and stocky, goes to the gym. Not worth a damn for climbing trees, you know. Get out of the way. Yeah, I'm older than you, but I'm long and lanky. I'll climb up that tree. I said, okay, now that bird is going to come out of this tree and he's going to land on my driveway right in front of you. When he does, just put that packing mat over him and I'll take care of it from there. So I get up there and I'm talking to him. You know, animals got to talk to him. I'm talking to him. Hey, everything's going to be okay. We're going to help you. And I get pretty close to him. And it decides to jump out of that tree about 20 feet down. And I'll be darned, he lands right in front of Lyle. And you know, these young eagles are taught this defensive stance that they'll chase you off just by doing that, you know, where their wings are cupped and their head is out and they mean business. And so it scared him. He didn't have his packing mat. By the time he turned around, that eagle went underneath the fence right here and back towards this pond in the woods with Lyle right behind him. And I'm getting down out of the tree. So I get back there just in time to see Lyle's got him backed up against the pond, and he's going, what do I do? I said, just throw that, don't get him in the water, just throw that packing mat over him. And I'm feet away from you. He got the mat over it, I walked over there. You know, you got to figure out where their talons are and get their wings folded up gently and wrap them up good, take them up in the house, open it up in the living room. Let's see what's up with this bird. Open it up, that eagle stands up. He spotted Lyle was in the kitchen there, his tormentor, and I'll be damned, that eagle chased him right out of that house. And it didn't think anything of me because I didn't torment it. So I'm going to figure out what's up with this eagle. So here I got a bowl of elk hamburger on the counter and a bowl of water. And that eagle, he could fly around that house, you know. He gets on that counter, boy, he's got it made. He's got food. He's got water. He would look at you and he would, even me, he would give you that defensive stance. And I just ignored it and I took my finger and kept right on going. When I touched him on the beak, all his wings and everything went down. And from then on, he was calm. You could pet his head. I think that the next morning, we went and sent the marksman, he'd been in the military out here with a pelican, go find us a rabbit for this eagle. I put a tarp down on my living room floor, then eagles walk around the house. As soon as we threw that rabbit in front of that eagle, I suspect the only ones that ever gave him a rabbit was his parents. He started talking to me. And they have a talk that's real guttural. It's not the screeching stuff you hear. And about that point, we became the best of friends. It was funny, I have a guest bedroom up there. That eagle liked that bedroom. He slept on that bed up in the corner of it. Because I had a friend come out, good friend I hiked with and picked medicines with, Emily. And I said, you ought to see what's at my house. Come on. And she walked in there and here's this golden eagle sitting on that bed. It's just calm as can be, you know. And I learned his language, so I'm talking to him. And sitting right next to him on the bed, petting his back. At that point, he was able to fly around in the house. I realized there was nothing, whatever was wrong, he's healed up. So after 3 days, I had to make the decision. You look like you're okay. Hardest decision I ever made. I said, you need to go be an eagle. And so I opened my doors and I had my eagle herding stick. You just tap it on the ground behind him and he'd walk right out, you know, walked out the door. I said, you're free. And he got out far enough where he could look down the side of my addition and Lyle was standing there. He's outdoors now. He's not afraid of Lyle. He still doesn't like him. He takes off after him and I gotta get between the two of them and get this eagle because he'd hunt him down. I could see where he was at. You know, he felt a lot better than he did in the beginning. I said, no, you gotta knock this off. I said, you're an eagle. Look at that, the wind's coming up. Go be an eagle. So right off, he flew, and he didn't go very far, them big trees by the house. He flew up there and sat for quite a while. Then he flew right down here by the lodge and spent the night in a tree here, right down here. And by the time I got to looking for him the next morning, he was gone. We run lodges, that bird would come by. So, hard thing to do. I always look back and went, oh, man, very intelligent animal, I could tell. And I was of the conclusion, eagles are smart enough, you could pretty much teach them with the capacity you could teach a smart dog to where they could most likely understand words, you know, over time. I look back at it and have thought, well, my life has settled down. Boy, that'd make a good field companion, you know, but I don't know. They're supposed to be out wild. We did take one picture of that eagle that was in my house. This is my living room. That's a chair that's got a buffalo robe over it. And you see how big a bird is that's only 4 months old. And we did take one picture. Some say you shouldn't, but we looked at his mortality rate with these wind farms. He'd be damn lucky if he made it through his first year anyhow. And so we did take one picture.